A mostly cloudy good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Terry Henne here at Radio Center, along with Matthew Lester, where we're looking at some chilly temperatures out there. Once again, we saw a number of mid to high teens overnight at a number of locations. Does appear as though that was probably the chilliest overnight readings that we will see for a little while. We're going to be looking at temperatures a good 6 to 8 degrees warmer tonight than what they were last night. Quite a bit of snow showers, snow flurry activity yesterday, tapered off as we went through the day, but especially over in Michigan's thumb as we were talking yesterday and the day before, we did see some snow depths looking at 6, 7, 8 inches. Caseville area reporting 9 inches of snow over the last 24 to 36 hours. Again, all of that lake effect type activity. It took a northwest wind, a gusty wind coming off of Saginaw Bay. And as a result, we had some pretty heavy snows. Fortunately for most of us, it was a powdery snow. So you were able to push it or blow it or whatever without a whole lot of problems. But some areas, especially in the lake effect areas of the northwest corner along the west side of the state and in southwestern Michigan, they did have some heavier wet snow to contend with along with the powder. And again, snow depths continue to come in over the past week, indicating that we're looking at anywhere from a trace of snow, couple 3, maybe 4 inches of snow here in the Great Lakes Bay area. And then you move over into those lake effect regions where snow depths are anywhere from 8 to as much as 30 inches. Here we are in the tail end of November, first full week of December. Well, we haven't had anything like that for quite a while. Matter of fact, the record snowfall on this date, the 6th of December, was back in 1962. We had just under a foot of snow. Matthew, temperature-wise, have we warmed up very much so far?
Well, over at the airport, it's cloudy at 27. Over in Midland, it's also cloudy at 27. Here at Radio Center, it's cloudy at 28. We have southwest winds at 10 miles per hour, and our pressure's at 30.22, and it's falling.
We should work our way up to about 30 by the time the day is all done. And we should see some sun. I can't even pronounce it anymore. Sun as we go into the afternoon. That'll, of course, help us a little bit as far as the temperature goes. But the other thing is the breeze is going to pick up a little bit more. Westerly, we will see some wind speeds of up to 15 miles per hour. So again, we're going to have a wind chill to contend with. All of this because of a high pressure system, which is over Arkansas right now, northern Arkansas. It's going to move into eastern Tennessee over the next 12 to 18 hours. What that means is an eventual draft of warmer air coming up into the state, because tonight we'll still have a little bit of a west breeze, but our temperature will only drop down to about 24, and there will be a chance of seeing some snow shower, snow flurry activity again along the lake shores, but that's about it. Tomorrow, we're going to have clouds. We're going to warm up. 37 is going to be our high tomorrow. Some light snow, especially kicking in later in the day, because we are going to have a southwest breeze as we go through the afternoon hours tomorrow. And we'll have some gusts up to about 25 miles per hour, increasing tomorrow night to right around 30 miles per hour. The other thing about tomorrow night is we won't drop down below the freezing mark. Saturday night, tomorrow night, will be warmer than what our projected high temperature for the day is going to be today. Now, during the day on Sunday, we will see more sunshine. And as a result, because of that high pressure system, which will be located over Tennessee, we're going to see not only an increase a little bit in the wind speed, 15, 18 miles per hour, southwest breeze, 46 will be our temperature for Sunday. Clouds will be around, but again, we're going to be looking at more in the way of sun. Moving into Monday, warmer still. we should hit 50 degrees for a high on Monday. We're going to be looking at a much better chance of seeing precipitation. It'll be all liquid. It'll kick in late on Sunday night, early Monday morning. Upper 40s, 50 degrees. Clouds on Monday night, 33 for a low. Then on Tuesday, we'll see clouds. Wednesday, we're going to get a little bit more in the way of sun, but cooler air. Then on Thursday, cooler still, more in the way of clouds. Our high temperature on Tuesday, after a high of 50 on Monday, is going to be about 36. Wednesday, 30. Thursday, 28 again for a high. Then the roller coaster will kick back in. It does appear as though long range, once we get through that little cool spell, which will be the tail end of next week into the weekend, temperatures are going to be warming up for the next week. And it should be above average on those temperatures and above average as far as the moisture is concerned. Record high in the state, that's 61, set back in 1998 and tied in 2001. The record low, a chilly 3 below zero, and that was set in 1964. Incidentally, 1964, December the 6th, the coldest day. 17 was our high, 3 below zero was the low. The warmest ever on this date was set back in 1998. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by, Matthew, on this Friday. Who do we have?
Up next, we have Gary Kaufman from Star of the West, and we also have Doug Klein from Oppenheimer.
But before we get to them, we want to remind you, the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrient Ag Solutions. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at the Rummel Insurance Agency. They do understand the risks that you face as a Michigan farm and agribusiness owner. And they also know that every farm's needs vary, like the crops in the fields. They want to get to know you one-on-one so they can help get the right farm insurance protection for you and your family. Contact them today. Talk to them. Might be a really good idea to figure out if you can save a little bit of money for 2025 on your insurance. You don't know unless you ask. Frankenmuth, Saginaw, or Carroll office of the Rummel Insurance Agency. Say good morning to Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West. And Gary, how's the week been going?
Well, for the most part, Jerry, it's been a quiet week, a little bit lower earlier in the week, and I guess recovery, you could say, yesterday, and a little bit more today. So with that being said, Jerry, we're probably down about 2 this week on wheat since last Friday's close, up about 6 on corn, and up about 2 on beans. So
yeah, I noticed yesterday wasn't all that bad of a day, was it?
No, we had a nice little bump yesterday, especially in the wheat. Yeah, wheat was up 10 yesterday, corn was up a nickel, and beans were up 10. And some of that, corn basically, we're moving above that 50-day to 100-day moving average, and that always gives us a little technical bounce too when we see that. And then, the demand on corn is just solid, Jerry. Export sales are probably up about 332 million bushel from a year ago. And the beans were getting a little bump from a strong bean oil market, and then the wheat, they basically Russia's wheat crop is rated poor, only 31% and good to excellent compared to 74% a year ago. So that's going to be a story as we move through the winter months, watching that crop over there, as they are a leader in the wheat export trade to the world. So that might be something to said. And South America weather is ideal right now. We're going to look at bumper crops in South America. So that's kind of between the export demand being good on beans and corn and the good weather in South America. It's just been kind of flat for the most part here for the last few weeks, Terry. So
my guess is a little jockeying for position ahead of a government report.
yeah, we got a U.S. report next week on Tuesday. Yeah, and we'll be getting an update on, whether the USDA will expand those export sales numbers upward a little bit, which they probably will. And then we'll get an update on potential production in South America as well. So
Yeah, that ought to be really interesting.
For sure.
So right now on the boards, what do you have?
Yeah, let's call cash wheat. Let's call it down a penny right now. 532 on the white, 457 on the red. New crop for 2025 down a penny, 572 on the white, 487 on the red. Cash corn, let's call it up 4 at 364. New crop for next year up 2 at 371. Cash soybeans currently up a penny at 905, and new crop for 2025, Terry, let's call it unchanged at 927.
We'll take ups all day, I'll tell you.
Yes, we will.
No matter how big. Gary, you have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again. All righty?
All right. Thanks, Terry. You as well.
You bet. Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West. Over to Doug Klein we go from Oppenheimer. Market report brought to you by Thumb Bank, serving agriculture since 1895. They help you stay up to date on industry trends and the trends of your operation, whether you're involved in agriculture or any business, and for that matter, any individual. They know all the concerns that you have, especially when you need to work with someone with dollars and cents. Thumb Bank, yes, they do. They have sense. Locations throughout the Thumb and the Great Lakes Bay region. Relationships are built on trust at Thumb Bank and Trust, equal opportunity lender and member FDIC. And by Schaefer and Beerline and Frankenmuth, you're in the market for a new Ram professional truck or a Ram heavy duty truck. You want to buy with confidence from a business linked dealer that knows what customer satisfaction truly is. Well, now is the time to go to Schaefer and Beerline and Frankenmuth, where family and service sells cars. We say good morning to Doug Klein. Doug, wrapping her up for the week.
Wrapping it up, a lot of more of the same. S&P hit a new high today. The NASDAQ 100 hit a new high today. Shipping hitting new lows today. Also anything to do with crude oil hitting lows. Oxy and Apache both getting a new low for the year today. Dow Chemical setting kind of sort of at a 3-year low right now. But then I looked at the chart, and a 4-year low is about 15 points lower than it is right now. So, I don't know what to make of that one.
That's possible.
That would be painful, but yeah, everything's possible. These markets are, once they catch an algorithm, once they catch a wind, boy, they go north in a big way, they go south in a big way.
Yeah.
I don't know, but crude oil's down about $1, 67.23. So I guess that's going to be helpful. The jobs report came in fairly strong, which I would have thought would have indicated that there's no need for an interest rate cut in a couple weeks. But apparently the market thought, yeah, that sounds pretty solid. We're going to get that interest rate cut in a couple weeks. So,
anything's better than the last one.
Well, yeah. So
good Lord.
There you go. We'll see.
Yeah.
So anyway, here's your numbers. The March corn is 439.5, up 4.5. September corn 433, up 2.5. March soybeans 9.99 3/4, up 3/4 of a penny. The September soybeans 10.05, down 1 1/4. March wheat 5.57 1/4, down a penny, and September wheat 5.83 1/4, down a penny and a quarter. Crude oil is 67.27, down $1.03. Heating oil 213, down 2.5 cents. Gasoline 190.5, down 2.6 cents. Petrol gas 307 1/4, down 0.7 of a penny. Over to currency, Canadian dollar. Well, Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar buys $1.4142 Canadian. That's up 120 ticks on that trade. The dollar buys 149.70 yen, down 36 ticks. The euro's at 105.69, down 17 ticks, and the dollar's at 105.86. That's up 15 ticks. Saw a report on Norway. They said that they have the largest wealth fund in the world, 20 trillion crowns, and that translates into $1.8 trillion in excess cash in Norway. And so whereas, you look at the U.S. government debt, where we're like, whatever, I don't even know, $200,000 in debt for every man, woman, and child in the country, they have $386,000 in excess cash for every man, woman, and child in that country. So kind of a different philosophy.
You got a friend or a relative over there?
No kidding, I'm moving. But anyway, over to precious metals. Gold is at $26.31.10, up $4.50. Silver's $31.08, down a nickel. Platinum's $939.20, down $2.40. Copper's at $421 and a quarter. That's up 2 cents.
All righty. You have a nice weekend.
Yep, you too.
Hey, we'll talk to you later. Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. We're going to take a break, and Michigan Farm Bureau has themselves a new president. We'll get a little bit more information on that when we return. But first of all, let's take a break. Comment was made about some of the changes, some of the law changes that are going to be taking place here in Michigan. One in particular is that Earned Sick Time Act that will affect all farm businesses with employees. You might want to check with MSU Extension. Go to their website. There is a webinar that is being posted right now on the MSU Extension website, revising this sick law leave, which goes into effect on February the 21st. Now, the Michigan Supreme Court judgment modified the current law earlier this year to include broader provisions that impact all employers regardless of size. So it might be a very good idea to check out that webinar. Eric Sawatsky with Yo and Yo had brought it up to our attention here back a couple of weeks ago. And again, that all takes place on February the 21st. You might want to get plugged in on that. And if you do have some issues with it, might be a good idea to contact your state representative and ask a little bit more about it. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Quality Roasting of Reese, offering competitive, consistent prices for your soybeans. Give them a call for a quote today. We'll be right back.
Miss Stephanie, are you ready for the farm show? Sounds good. Please hold.
Farm Service brought to you by Freeland Bean and Grain, your Dairyland seed dealer. You know, they've got a good supply right now of all the Dairyland varieties, including the all-new Vorseed and PowerCore Enlist traded corn hybrids. Justin Varner can help you out. Dairyland Seed, we got seed with your name on it from your friends at Freeland Bean and Grain since 1983. Where serving you is their business. Along with us, Chuck Servinski, Maple Hill Nursery in Midland. Chuck, poinsettias, they're absolutely gorgeous plants this year.
Oh yeah, every place I've seen them, they're just lovely. And they're known for that beautiful red foliage during the Christmas season. And with proper care, they can really be enjoyed well beyond the holiday season. If you get a poinsettia, you're going to want to put it near a sunny window. Indirect filtered sunlight for 6 hours or so a day during its flowering is the best for it. They like a daytime temp of about 70 degrees and about 60 degrees at night. As far as watering goes, you're going to want to water it when the soil feels dry to the touch, and don't overwater it. You want to water it thoroughly, and don't allow it to set in the excess water if you've got a saucer under it. And yellow leaves can appearing can be a sign of too much or too little water. Not really necessary to fertilize much during the holidays, but after it's done flowering and goes into its active leaf growth period, usually around March, you can fertilize it with a triple 20 liquid fertilizer, or you can give it a little handful of Dairy Dew, Flower Dew 201 potting soil to give it a little jump start.
Yeah, and you've got that in stock.
We do. We've just got our first couple loads in for spring already.
Wow. Chuck Servinski, always good to talk. You have a nice weekend. We'll talk to you again next week, okay?
Okay.
All righty. Chuck Servinski from Maple Hill. Over to Stephanie Zelenko. We go now with AgriLiquid. Stephanie, things winding down, but there's still a lot of things that farmers should be looking at.
There are, and this week I've made a trip around the country, going to Washington State and now in Texas, and it's the same no matter where I go. Looks like farming's pretty much wrapped up in all geographies, and it's cold, so it's time to start thinking about those winter things. Plan your seed sales, purchases, and crop protection. Get things locked in so we can go into 2025 prepared for another great season.
Yeah, locking in prices, right?
Absolutely.
All right. You have a great weekend, Stephanie. We'll talk to you again soon, okay?
You're welcome.
We'll be right back. We'll be back at 12:30 with an update, so you stick around for that. Now we conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem, brought to you by Euclid Avenue Coins in Bay City.